Hi, my name is Malia Peck, and today I'm going to teach a quick lesson about speech and language impairments, which, as defined in IDEA, is a communication disorder such as stuttering, impaired articulation, a language impairment, or a voice impairment that adversely affects a child's education performance. So I chose to learn more and talk about this topic because my older sister, when she was little, she actually had a stutter and went to therapy for that, and I got to watch all those fun movies with her that she got to bring home when I was 3. So we have a little bit of experience with that in my family. And so with speech and language impairments, there's a couple different types. The first two are pretty well known. There's the articulation disorder, which is when children have difficulty making certain sounds. A lot of the times they'll leave a sound off or they'll add sounds, they'll change it from what it's supposed to be, and it makes understanding a little bit difficult. And then there's fluency disorders, which is how the speech flows itself. And so there's usually something that's disrupting that normal flow of speech, which is usually something like a stutter. So now we're going to watch a video, and I want you to try to tell if this little girl has an articulation disorder or fluency disorder.
Elizabeth. How old are you, Elizabeth?
3.
Elizabeth is going to tell us a story so that we can look at her speech and articulation skills within a connected speech sample. All right, Elizabeth, tell us your story.
Once upon a time, there was a little puppet named Pinocchio. His father painted him, and then the blue fairy come and changed him alive, and then Pinocchio's nose glowed, and then the blue fairy comes again and fixed his nose, and Jimmy Cricket said, "We're free." And then the fox said, "Up to the feather." The end.
Hopefully from that clip you're able to tell that Elizabeth struggles with an articulation disorder because she has difficulty saying certain sounds, especially at the beginning of words. Okay, so there's 2 more types of disorders, and those are voice and language. Children that have problems with a voice disorder usually have something wrong with the actual sound of their voice itself, whether it's the pitch, the loudness, harshness, just the quality of the voice. Sometimes they'll have a really hoarse or raspy voice. And then with a language disorder, it's more with actual language itself instead of how their language sounds. And that has to do with like meanings of language itself and their ability to use words in the right context and to understand those words. And there's 3 different types of the language disorders. There's an expressive language disorder, which is kind of what it sounds like. Child just has difficulty expressing their ideas or their needs through language. And the next type is receptive language disorders, which is kind of the opposite. They have difficulty understanding things that other people say. And then there's mixed, where they just have challenges with both of those. So speech and language disorders can be caused by a number of different things. Sometimes it's hearing loss, which is why young children, when a speech or language impairment is suspected, they will test their hearing just to tell if there is also a hearing impairment in addition to that's causing their speech or language impairment. Sometimes it's a result of a neurological disorder, a brain injury. Intellectual disabilities also often result in a speech or language impairment. Drug abuse, physical impairments. A lot of the times if a student has cleft palate or a cleft lip, that will also result in a speech or language impairment. And then there's vocal abuse or misuse, which is what it sounds like. But more often than not, the cause of these disorders is actually unknown. So there's still research being done to try to understand why some of these things seem to be a struggle. And I know in my family, like, we have cousins that had stutters, and I have older cousins, younger cousins, all on my mom's side, and maybe a little bit of it's genetic, or not really sure, but they're working on learning more about what exactly causes those disorders. And then I want to go back and play for you a clip about what a stutter sounds like, because it doesn't sound the same for every student. Sometimes it'll be really difficult to start a sentence, but then they'll have a normal flow, and sometimes it'll be more of just every so often they get stuck on a word. So we're going to play that video.
Stuttering is when my words get stuck, like I just did.
Stuttering is not something that you can help. It's something that just comes along with some people, and you need to be patient, but don't treat a stuttering person any differently.
Is stuttering the same for everybody?
Okay, so from this last video, the last boy said that it's really important to be patient with people who have a stutter or speech or language impairment. And I think that's especially important for teachers. And so just in terms of some classroom strategies for working with these students and helping them be successful in their educational experience, the first one is just be patient with them, understand that they do sometimes have a difficult time expressing their needs or what they mean, and in a way that they would like to and feel comfortable doing. And so other things that teachers can do is to learn about these disabilities and learn specifically about the disability that a student in your class struggles with, and learn what different strategies work for different disorders, because not all the same ones are going to work, though there will be some general across the board strategies. And then ask for a copy of their IEP. Make sure you know what accommodations they need in your classroom that you should be providing for them, whether that's with their work in the classroom or their homework or testing, just making sure that you're helping them with those accommodations in your class. And then it's also really important to talk to either a special educator or a speech language pathologist to try to understand more and ask what are different things that you could do to help these students. Another thing you can do is find out what resources and materials are available in your school district or in your state. A lot of times there'll be extra resources either for the student or for you as a teacher to help teach them better. And then communicate with the parents. A lot of the times your best resource will be the parents, because they know this child, they love this child, and they know what this child really needs to be successful. And then just lastly, making sure to understand that as a teacher you really can play a really important role, and that you really can make a difference in these students' lives. And I guess just to close, I want to show this video of this boy. He was from Iran, grew up learning 3 different languages, and then he moved to the United States and found out that in his native languages, in addition to English, he actually had some speech and language problems with different sounds. And so I want to show this video. And he had some really influential teachers and other people in his life that helped him to overcome this and realize that he really could turn this weakness into a strength.
And from this process of just continuing this philosophy, of just getting out my comfort zone, even standing up here, getting out my comfort zone, I've realized that something that I viewed as a weakness, something I avoided, something I even ran away from, I hit it straightforward, and I solved that problem by turning that weakness into a strength. Then I turned it into an asset by capitalizing on it, by seeing what I could do with it, putting me in a position where I had to do that and face it. Now, through this process, I've turned that weakness into a passion. I love talking, Anytime you see me, I'm probably talking. Now, I'm going to leave you with this. Speak loudly, speak proudly, and get out of your comfort zone. Thank you.
I just know that as teachers that we really can help these students to be confident in their abilities and to give them opportunities to speak and to speak confidently and to turn this weakness that they feel with language into a strength, that they can be proud of their voice and feel like they can use it confidently. So that's it for speech and language impairments.